Hello everybody. I'm starting a new project and I'm actually going to film this one from the beginning this time, or try to at least. So I've already actually kind of failed. I've started testing. But my plan is to make a sort of planter or automatic watering garden type of deal with my cacti here. So I got these two guys and this little guy, which all came off of one of these. Like, these two split when they were really small, and then this one just started growing one day. It's crazy, but I love it. And then we got this one. This is a new one. And I got a really tall one down in the kitchen right now that I'm also going to add in. And then I also had this guy right here, but despite what the sign says there, it did not stay alive, unfortunately, which is very sad. It had a bunch of little babies going around it. It was awesome. And it could have been because of the lack of watering, or maybe these were taking the water. I don't know. Some excuse to make it so it didn't look like I killed it. But basically, yeah, I'm gonna build an automatic watering system for these. I'm gonna use a capacitive soil, soil moisture sensor? Yeah. So it just measures the capacitance of the soil. When it has water, it will be more conductive, so it'll have less capacitance. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, so here's the test. I've been working on just seeing the different levels. So as you turn the potentiometer there, it'll light up one light at a time. And basically, when in this scenario, we'll say the lights determine, or represent rather, the moisture levels. So it's at full moisture right now, and as it dries out, the moisture is going to go down. And as the moisture hits zero, that's when I want the water pump to kick on, and then it'll fill until like yellow to beginning of red or so. So I don't want to like flood the plants. And then as it goes down, it'll just keep going between the two, you know. And then the second potentiometer currently doesn't do anything. You can turn it as much as you want, it doesn't affect anything. What that's going to be is, let me grab it. Okay, I actually have two sensors. I have that one and then that one. I don't know why I had to prove that to you, but there they are. So I'll measure the soil levels from two different spots, and if both of them are relatively close, then it will kick on the pump. If they're off, then I don't know, maybe a light will come up for me to check it, to service it or whatever. Be like, hey, dude, the soil like on the right side of the planter is super wet, soil on the left side of the planter is dry. And I'll be like, that's not right. Gotta fix that. But yeah, that's where we are right now. I'll update you on the program, I suppose. This is the program for that light sequence I showed you. It's a pretty simple program. It may look complicated if you haven't programmed before, but it's a lot of just copy and paste. As you can see, this section is the same as this section, and each of these is just a copy of the other. Like, I literally copied and pasted and then just changed the values depending on which LED I wanted to light at which time. It's just it's mapped down. I'm not very good with Arduino, so I don't know if I did this right, because if you'll notice, I barely turned the potentiometer in the video, and it turned on all of the lights I mean, it did it in a sequence, but it did it in a very small part of the potentiometer. I would like for more of a turn there. But other than that, it worked great. My goal is to have it so, like in this case, it's scaling it from 0 to 100. So when it's at 10, when the value from the potentiometer is at 10, then LED 1 will turn on. And then when it's at 20, LED 2 will then turn on, and so on. Alright, here you can see the new program. Just as simple as the older one. Literally just added this. And I guess technically I added this stuff, but you already knew about what I was doing. So in this case, when potentiometer 1 is at 10, potentiometer 1 is doing the exact same thing as it was before. But now, potentiometer 2 is in the mix. And in this case, you can see on every single line it is 10. And that's definitely not because I was too lazy to change every single one of these. It was totally 100% on purpose and definitely could not have been done with just a simple push button or anything like that. But basically, when potentiometer 2 is at the value of 10, it'll allow the same functionality as potentiometer 1 was doing before we added the second potentiometer. And I'll show you how that works after this clip, in case it's confusing, because I guarantee it is to you guys. And I apologize for that. Which leads me to let you know that if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Or if you have suggestions on how to do this better, I'd love to hear it. I'm still learning. I'm always learning and always will be learning. So it's just what life is. So I'll show you how this functions right now, actually. Alright, so here's the program that I just showed you guys. As you can see when oh, interesting. So here is the updated program downloaded onto the Arduino board. Here's potentiometer 1, this is potentiometer 2, and then LED 1 and LED 10, just for reference. So, potentiometer 1 acts as normal, right? Until potentiometer 2 is below 10 as it's scaled. So now you can wiggle potentiometer 1 to any value and it won't do anything until you bring it back, potentiometer 2 back to above 10. Then you have full normal functionality. So there you go. Essentially, this is going to be this is showing a very sped up process of what the soil is going to be doing as moisture evaporates or is absorbed by the plants. Here is the hopefully final product, programming wise at least. This indicator light is to show that the Arduino is on, and then this light 3 here, it's going to be light 1, light 2, light 3, and then light 4. Light 3 will be on if the Arduino if the plants get watered. LED 1 and 2 will both come on if the soil isn't moist enough and it needs to be watered. These will turn on when they're being watered. So LED 1 in this case represents the relay that will be connected as a switch for the pump. So when that turns on, the pump turns on, essentially. In fact, I have there it is. This is the relay. So, let me take it out. So you have 5 pins here. If you'll focus, there we go. So you have your normally closed contacts and your normally open. It's going to be normally open. So this pin will not be used, this far right pin. And then you just have your positive and negative on the bottom left and right pins. And then you have your common for the signal. And I'll explain that more when I'm wiring it up. But yeah, it's just a simple relay. So I'll demonstrate. Again, the potentiometers are going to be the sensors in this case for this simulation, if you will. So moisture is below. You can see all 3 lights turned on. After 5 seconds, these 2 will turn off. There they go. And this one will stay on until the Arduino is turned off again. And it's in a loop, so now it's watered. The soil is moist enough. Now these 2 LEDs are off. This one stays on to just be like, hey, I watered the plants today. And then again, this one stays on forever as long as the Arduino is on. Also, the reason I have that light there is because the Arduino will not be on 24/7 because there's an internal clock that turns off after like 49 days, I think, if my math is correct, like 49.7 days. So every day I'm just gonna have a wall timer that you just plug into the wall, and then you plug the cord for this into the wall, and then that'll be on for, I don't know, 15 minutes to half an hour every day, which will turn on the Arduino, which will sense the soil. If the soil needs watering, it will water it. If it doesn't, it'll just keep running until the timer on the wall turns off, and it will not water it. So I'll show you the program right now. Here we have a very simple program, actually, surprisingly simple. We have the 4 digital outputs. So you have LED 1, or sorry, this is the relay. This turns on the water pump. And then you have LEDs 1 through 3 or 4. And this one just shows that the Arduino is on. So that's what this is for. Just turns on that LED as soon as the Arduino is turned on. This one is telling me when the plants get watered, as I explained previously. And then this one is to show that the motor or the pump is currently on. So if we come down here, I just have analog read turning into mval, just for simplicity, in case I want to add more into this. Like, say if mval is over 1,000, then it will do something else, turn on a red LED that is like, hey, we're overwatered, or something like that. I don't have any reason to do that currently, but we'll see when the time comes. Currently don't even have a setup ready to test this yet, other than this little simulation breadboard I have. Then let's say mval 1 or 2 is below 100, then, and this might change as well, because I don't know if it's going to measure low or high if it's watered or not. That's something I'm going to have to test. But then all it does is just turn on the LEDs and the relay to turn on the pump and let me know that the pump's running. Then the pump will run for 5 seconds, and then it'll turn off. But you'll notice this LED stays on. That's, again, just letting me know that the plants have been watered. Otherwise, it'll just delay for 5 seconds and then go through the entire program again. And that's in case, let's say, it reads through this part too fast, and it needs to check it again or something. I don't know. Redundancy, you know. And then it'll run for, like I said, 15 to 30 minutes. It's that simple. So, hopefully I'll get to building this soon.